The French Navy's decision to bring the first FDI frigate, Amiral Ronarc'h, into service marks a clear inflection point in Paris's maritime force structure. At first glance, the FDI appears to be simply a mid-sized multi-role frigate, but its significance lies not in tonnage or visible size. It lies in the strategic philosophy embedded within its sensors, data systems, and integrated command architecture. To understand the FDI is to understand how France envisions future naval warfare, not as a contest of mass hull numbers, but of intelligent networks, resilient sensors, and platforms that act as nodal command authorities inside a wider tactical web. The FDI program must be seen against France's long history of designing high-capability, low-quantity fleets. Unlike the United States with its dozens of Burke-class destroyers, or China with its rapidly expanding Type 052D and Type 055 surface fleets, France has traditionally invested in fewer ships that each possess a high degree of individual combat autonomy. This philosophy originates in the post-Cold War period, when France resolved to maintain strategic independence even within NATO, and to ensure that any French naval task force could operate without depending entirely on United States capabilities for surveillance, missile defense, or logistics. From this mindset emerged the FDI as a successor and partial complement to the FREM class. While the FREMs are quiet, highly capable anti-submarine frigates with broad mission versatility, the FDI is oriented toward air dominance, electronic resilience, and digital connectivity. Its role is not merely to escort or patrol, but to manage the local battle space, fusing sensor inputs and distributing targeting solutions to Allied platforms in real time. Much of that revolves around the Seafire Active Electronically Scanned Array radar. This 4-panel fixed-face radar constitutes one of the most advanced naval air search sensors currently fielded in Europe. Unlike rotating radars, Seafire maintains continuous tracking of multiple aerial targets, offering instantaneous refresh rates and reliable performance even in dense threat environments. Combined with the Aster 15 and Aster 30 missile family, the FDI can engage threats ranging from cruise missiles to hostile aircraft, and potentially even hypersonic vehicles within defined parameters. In practice, this means a small French surface group centered on an FDI could exert area air defense capability far beyond its displacement. The FDI also incorporates a sophisticated anti-submarine package, including both hull sonar and towed array sonar, enabling deep water and littoral detection. Yet what matters more is how these sensor feeds are integrated. The combat system does not simply present data to the crew. It correlates it, prioritizes it, and shares it across the naval network. The ship is less a weapons carrier than an information processor that delivers firing solutions to all nodes within reach. Here, the difference with FREM is crucial. FREM represents the height of conventional multi-role frigate design: quiet, lethal, and adaptable. FDI represents a generational transition toward digital maritime combat. It uses a full digital twin in development and maintenance, meaning every system exists simultaneously in a virtual engineering environment, allowing predictive maintenance, reduced downtime, and lifecycle optimization. This kind of integrated digital approach is not primarily about efficiency. It is about operational readiness in a conflict scenario where even momentary system failures can generate tactical disadvantage. In force structure planning, France envisions the FDI class operating closely with the Charles de Gaulle carrier group, eventually with the next-generation nuclear carrier PANG. The FDI will act as a distributed sensor platform and forward missile screen, extending the carrier's defensive perimeter. In zones such as the Eastern Mediterranean, this is particularly relevant when countering regional missile threats or unpredictable air defense environments. Within the Indo-Pacific, where France maintains sovereign territories and a permanent naval presence, the FDI supports the strategic narrative that France is not a peripheral European actor, but a Pacific stakeholder with enduring commitments. The export dimension also reveals the geostrategic leverage of the program. Greece's acquisition of FDIs must be interpreted not simply as a procurement decision, but as a geopolitical realignment. Athens chose French frigates partly because of the integrated combat suite and missile capabilities, but also because Paris offered strategic partnership, standing alongside Greece in its Aegean rivalry with Turkey. Indonesia's interest in FDI likewise illustrates how France is positioning itself as a non-United States, non-China defense partner, offering high-end naval technology without political encumbrances. For Romania, considering FDI or related French designs for Black Sea defense, it is about countering long-term anxiety generated by Russian deployments in Crimea. This export strategy is also possible because Naval Group, the industrial champion behind FDI, has built a strong base of domestic design and manufacturing. France does not need foreign licensing to produce critical subsystems, a major difference from other NATO navies. With Naval Group controlling intellectual property and domestic industrial capability, France retains sovereign autonomy over fleet evolution, system upgrades, and electronic warfare adaptations. As we project to the year 2030, the French Navy will not be one of the world's largest by ship count, but it will be among the most digitally adapted to complex threat environments. The FDI illustrates a model of naval warfare that prioritizes information over armor, speed of decision over brute force, and real-time combat intelligence over mere projectile range. In contrast to China's quantitative buildup, France is moving toward qualitative asymmetry, ships that can sense first, decide first, and fire first. The implications go beyond France. Other European navies are observing the FDI closely. Italy's future surface fleet, Germany's F-126, and even Britain's Type 26 all reveal an emerging consensus. The next generation of frigates is not merely about displacement or missile count, but about data fusion, automation, electronic flexibility, and survivability against cyber and electromagnetic threats. Ultimately, the FDI stands as a response to modern maritime contestation, where information dominance is as decisive as missile exchange. It is not a platform created for symbolic presence, but for contested seas, where the ability to control the electromagnetic environment might determine victory long before missiles are launched. That is why Amiral Ronarc'h is not simply a new ship, but a statement of French intent to remain a globally relevant naval power in an era where future wars at sea will be fought not only with steel and fire, but with sensors, algorithms, and information superiority,